Hey guys, it's Lady Raven, the Wild Witch, and let me flip this a little bit here. Welcome to The Witch's Inn. Today we are going to be talking about a gratitude practice. And this is something that's really critical and really important for you, and something that I really recommend everybody to have, especially if you are somebody who is prone to getting into like a depression, or somebody who's prone to like having a really difficult time working through the lows of life, and let me tell you why it is that I think a gratitude practice is important. It is because when you hit those speed bumps, the gratitude practice that you have allows you to have like this mental filing cabinet to go back in and pull all of these things that you are grateful for, so that you can say, okay, yes, I'm going through a difficult time right now, but this is just now. Look at all the other wonderful things that have happened to me in my life. It also keeps you from cursing yourself, which can also happen. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. So let's talk about, what does a gratitude practice really look like? So gratitude practice is just an idea of taking a small part of the day and using that time of day to express gratitude for something that happened. Now, it can happen in many different ways. One of the ways that I always recommend people to start with is journaling. And the other reason why I like journaling is because, oh, excuse me. Sorry, I woke up late today because I have a bit of a cold. The other reason why I really like journaling, and I think journaling is important, is because it gives you something tangible that you can then look back into and say, this is what happened. This is, this is what's happening today, but 2 months ago, look at how great things happened to me here. So you can choose many different things. So you can choose. Some people use a crystal. They have like a worry stone or a pocket stone or something like that, that every time they feel the gratitude, they grab that stone and they hold on to it and they acknowledge that gratitude for them, right? Ultimately, everything that we do in our lives is energy, right? We all know that. Ultimately, good feelings, bad feelings, everything is energy, and so is gratitude. But gratitude is a little bit of a different energy, in that it allows you to kind of, sometimes when you're having those moments where you're really down, the gratitude gets in there and it lifts you up a little bit from the ground. So how would you get started with that? So choose your favorite method, whether it be um, a journal, whether it be a crystal. There's also, and I actually have one here on my altar. Hold on. Yeah, I do. So this is a gratitude jar. So I love recording these from home, because then I'm here, and give me 1 second. Let me just adjust this because it's way too high and I feel like I have to stretch my neck so that you guys can see me. There we go. No, what's going on with this? Why this is so far to the left? But anyway, um, here's my gratitude jar, right? So you can create a jar, something that looks. Hold on a second. The wonders of being live on something. See, I don't know why it's sitting here this way. If I go off that way, it brings me even more. Oh, that's why. Okay, never mind. There we go. Problem fixed. Oops, and now it's sitting on something. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for putting up with me. So basically, this is a little gratitude jar, and we actually created this in Coven as part of a ritual over a year ago, and I still use it to this day. So what we do is, we have some flowers in there and some. This was created in ceremony, so this is really kind of a sacred gratitude jar, more so than anything. So whenever you have something that happened to you that you want to give gratitude for, you can open the jar and you would write it in a piece of paper. Oops, hello. Piece of paper like this, and then you add it to your jar. And then when you're having those lows, those really difficult times, you can come here and you can open it up and you can read for yourself the little pieces of gratitude that you have. Now, the important thing about a gratitude practice, probably the most important thing, is going to be that it is a daily practice. So, and here's what's important about it, because if it's not a daily practice, you're going to forget and you're not going to do it. You're not going to stick to it. So you need to start. This is not something that you have to, that you start, say, I'll start a couple times a week and see how it goes. Set an alarm on your phone. do something to that effect, and then start it and make it a daily practice. Now, it doesn't have to be an hour long. It can be 5 minutes. Whatever it is that you're going to do, it can be 5 minutes. It could be, you could do it on your phone, have like a note or something, and every day at a certain time, you go in and you say, I'm going to write 3 things I'm grateful for today. Bam, 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 those 3 things. And then just sit there and just think about them and just say, boy, that was nice. So those are some ways that you can start that practice. So now looking at that, this is the other reason why people a lot of times don't have a gratitude practice, is because they look at it and they go like, oh, well, I can only be grateful for things when they're big, right? I can only be grateful for things when it's a massive thing that happened to me. Like, I got free money from someone or anything like that. No, you need to be grateful for all of the little things that happens to you. So let's say, you go to the doctor's office and you find a parking space right up front. Gratitude. Let's say you go through a drive-through and there's no cars in front of you. Gratitude. Let's say you go, here's another example. You go to the doctor and you find out that for whatever reason, the insurance company changed your premium for the year, and it's either less or there's no premium at all for that service. Goes in your gratitude journal, right? You were having a really hard day, and then all of a sudden your best friend calls you and cheers you up. Gratitude journal material. So it's like every single thing that's going to happen, and you have to look for those little things that go your way. Because if you don't do that, what happens is when you have a bad thing that happens, then you just focus on the bad thing and you go, oh my God, my life sucks because look at this. And this is exactly how you curse yourself. When you start becoming a negative person, when you start telling yourself that nothing good ever happens to you, you are now cursing yourself. Now, this is the other thing that I hear all the time from people. People come into my shop all the time and go like, oh, I'm cursed. Somebody put a curse on me. I can tell you that in my 20 plus years of doing this, I have seen 3 legitimate curses. The rest of it is people cursing themselves. And you curse yourself by starting to notice negative things. So you go to the grocery store and go, God, there's no cashier open. There's 15 people on this line. I'm going to be late. This is bad luck, blah, blah, blah. And then let's say you leave there and you go to your next appointment. You have to go, let's say, drop your dog off at daycare. You go to drop your dog off. There's a parking spot right in front. You don't consider that gratitude. And you keep going on. And then you go to the drive-thru and there's 4 cars in the drive-thru and you're like, God, I only have 5 minutes. This again, I'm sitting in line again. That's negative. And then you go somewhere else and you go, okay, well now, you're going to go pick up your kid from school. You go in there, the teacher comes out and says, hey, your kid did so great today. It was so wonderful. Here's some things great that she did. You pick up your kid from school. You don't acknowledge that. That's to you as part of everyday life, right? What happens is waiting in lines is part of everyday life. Getting in a car accident is part of everyday life. All of the bad things that happen to you and all of the good things that happen to you, they are all part of everyday life. But when you don't have a gratitude practice, you focus on the bad. It's human nature. And so what happens is now you have this story running in your head about all these bad things that are happening to you. You keep, and then you keep thinking about it. And the more you think about it, the more you focus on it, the more you obsess on it, what's going to happen? More bad things are going to happen to you. And not only that, you start acting like you are a person who is cursed, which in just that action attracts more of that negative energy. And this is something that people don't understand about how curses work. Even if somebody did curse you, let's say that, you got somebody who just bought a witch book and they don't like you and they decide the very first thing, because they don't know any better, is they're going to cast a curse on you, send a curse your way. First of all, there's a good chance that the curse is not going to do anything because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, number 1. But number 2 is a curse is an instrument. So imagine a curse being a car. So you go and you buy a new car. That car by itself is the curse, right? All the intricacies that went in to set it up and to get it going. Now, what does the car need to continue to go? It needs fuel. So I can guarantee you, 1,000% guarantee you that whoever cursed you doesn't hate you enough to dedicate time to you every single month for the rest of their lives to send energy your way to feed that curse. They don't care about you that much. Trust me on this. So what's going to happen is they may for a couple months, but then after that, they're done. So by the time that couple months ends and they're done, eventually that curse will fade away. But if you are now obsessing about it and thinking about it and going, oh my God, everything negative is bad, who's putting gas in that curse's tank? It's you. You are now fueling your own curse. And this is how curses happen in families, right? This is how curses are passed on in families. So whether there was a curse or not, somebody decides at one point to say, oh, family is cursed. So and so did something, or every male in our family does this, every female in our family does this, every time this happens, blah blah blah, or we are cursed in money, or we are cursed in this, whatever it is that you think your family is cursed on. The minute you tell your children that this has happened, you have just passed on the curse to them. Even if they think, this is all BS. I don't believe in any of this. This is not, no. Even if that's what their train of thought is, that little seed has been planted and it's in the back of their head, which means if they don't have a solid, balls to the wall gratitude practice, every time something negative happens in their life, that little seed is going to grow a little bit more. They're going to go, oh, well, yeah, maybe that curse my mom said is something. Maybe it's not. Give it enough time, that little seed balloons. And then now you truly have a curse that person is fueling themselves. And then when their children are born, because they believe in this so much, they're going to pass it on to their children. And this is how these things get passed on from generation to generation to generation. Now, there are a few exceptions to that. I will say that. And this is not a class on cursing, so I am not going to go into it. But this is 95% of curses that I lift from people are exactly this. It's them cursing themselves. And here's the kicker on this. Here is the problem. You have a curse. You come to see me. I remove it and I lift it. What happens after that? If your mindset doesn't change, you're recursing yourself all over again. So this is why a gratitude practice is so important, because the gratitude practice is the medicine. It's what stops that from happening. It's what makes you say, wait a minute, no, this can't be a pattern, because I noticed all these other good things that happen in my life. So yeah, so 5 good things happen today and 1 bad thing happened today. Let me move on. And what happens is when you start noticing that and you start building up that little bank of positive energy, when something bad happens that brings you down, you are able to withstand that and pass that through a little bit more. So that is all about how cursing works and why you should have one. Now, I'm going to talk about if you decided to do curse, if you decided that you are going to do a gratitude journal, you can start with something as simple as this. Like this is an old Lunarly book that came to me when I first subscribed, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago or something like that. So just a simple book like this. And what you would do is, I am a big fan of making things really pretty when I work on it, just because it gives me that good energy. So when I work on my book of shadows, when I work on my journal, when I work on my gratitude journal, everything, there's always different color pens. I always add in like little images and pictures. I add a lot. You can see this is what I was working on yesterday, my book of shadows. Stickers and stuff, all kinds of things that you add, not just to be able to have the information, but the reason why I do it is because it adds the energy of the feeling. So when you open it up and you see a page that is very light and cheery and happy, or you see a page that is funny, or you see a page that is sad, or you see a page that, whatever energy that page is going to transfer to you, it's encoded not just in the words that you wrote, but also in the feel that that page is going to have. So what you want to do is you want to open up a journal like this, and then every day you can do a simple journal where you can go in and you can just do a list. Say, Monday, bam, 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 3 things that happened to me, just write it down. Or you can do something more elaborate. So you can go, Monday, first item, this happened to me. Why is this a good thing? And you can even come in and put the whys in there for yourself. So for example, went to the doctor, was able to get a space right in front, didn't have to walk in. Why was this such a blessing for me today? Because I was in a hurry, because my ankle hurt, because whatever reason, if I had to park farther away, it would have been not just the walking, but it made my life a little bit more difficult. So having the parking spot right in the front is something that helped out. Give a reason as to why it is that those things were good. There's another way to do this where you would write a gratitude journal. And then on the bottom, you would write maybe the 3 things without really a lot of explanation, but maybe the 3 bullet points of what are the things that didn't go so great today. And then you're able to look and say, oh, and I guarantee you, every single day, if you're paying attention, your good list is going to outnumber your bad list. Guaranteed. It's a matter if you're paying attention or not. So then you can write those things down. So then you can look and see, oh my God, I had 5 good things and only 3 bad things that happened. The other thing that a friend of mine taught me, her name is Karen Yoder. So if she's watching, hello, Karen. But one of the things she taught me years and years ago is she said, when you write a list, and it's really more for manifestation, but I have found that it works really well for gratitude. So when you're writing your list down of what it is that you're doing, you're going to put a line here that's going to divide the paper in 2, like this, right? And then on one side, you're going to write, this is what I'm working on. And on the other side, you're going to write, this is what the universe is working on for me. So you can add that in your gratitude journal. If there's a goal you're working on right now, you put your things that you're grateful for. How did these 3 things help your day go? And then in the other side, what is the universe doing? Things that you can't do, that the universe is doing on your behalf to make sure that thing happens. Because when you're trying to work on manifestation, which is 100% linked to gratitude, because it's what maintains, manifestation requires you to have that positive energy, and gratitude is what maintains that positive energy. So when you're looking at that, you can look and say, okay, as long as I do my side, the universe will do theirs. Because here's the key also for manifestation and tying it right into gratitude is if you don't do the work yourself, the universe isn't going to do anything. If you look at that list and your checklist, nothing's been written. The universe has 10 things on their checklist and they've done it. And they're looking at you going, hello, chop, chop. When are you going to get up and do what you need to do? So those are the 2 things that are also going to be a little bit different. So if you're looking at working with the universe in that way, you're going to be making sure that you are always having that little bowl or that little jar or that little filing cabinet of positive energy that you can just tap into whenever it is that you want. And especially now, as we get ready to go into the holiday season, and this is a holiday that is all about gratitude, which is why I wanted to talk about gratitude today, right? But it can be very stressful because we are sitting with family, right? And a lot of times, some people have magical families where nobody fights with anybody. Everybody's always happy all the time, and that's great. But most of us have normal families where there's a lot of drama. There may be a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, but there's also a lot of drama on top of it. So this is a perfect time for a gratitude journal. You can look at your Thanksgiving and go, hey, excuse me. Oh, goodness, I'm not sure why I'm yawning so much today. You can look at one side of it and you can say, hey, so this is the thing, Aunt Mary started with her whole thing again, how she's a hypochondriac and it drove everybody crazy. This is the one thing. Second thing about it, my dad was doing really well. Hopefully I'll have 20 more years with him. Mom, who was sick, is now feeling better. Great. This was great to have. My obnoxious cousin came in and made fun of me again. That goes in the negative column. But then you can go down the positive column and see all of the positive things. Got to see my favorite cousin. Got to see my nephews who are growing so fast, and one of them looks so much like me. It's crazy. Go look at the list that you have. And this is one of the things that's going to help to ease your tension during the holiday season, to get through that holiday season, is to just remain in that place of gratitude. Remain in that place where you acknowledge the positive things that happen in your life and you don't let the bad things bring you down. And I'm not saying to not acknowledge the bad things, because let me tell you this, you don't have a choice. If you got a car accident, there's no way that you can say, I disbelieve that the car accident happened. That's not a choice. So that is a negative thing that happened, and you're going to see it. Every time something negative happens in our lives for us that stops our day, that keeps our mojo from flowing the way it's supposed to, that stops an opportunity, that maybe we get hurt or something to that effect, that is a negative thing. You don't have to not focus on it. It is going to force you to focus on it because it interrupted the flow of your day, right? Positive things don't interrupt that. They keep that flow going, which is the reason why we don't notice them, why we don't acknowledge them, why we're not able to turn around and say, hey, you know, this is what happened. Here's all the great things. So a gratitude practice puts you into that state of mind of gratitude. It puts you into a place where you are constantly happy, where you are, excuse me, not happy, you're constantly grateful for your life and the way that things lead every day. A gratitude item could be, you know, I have a house to sleep in. I have my own bed. I have clothes that I can wear. I have food on my plate, which a lot of people don't. So this is a way that you can start making your gratitude, you know, and say, okay, here are the things that are everyday things that I normally take for granted. And I'm now going to be grateful for those things to happen. And this is how it builds up that little chest of positive energy and that little chest of gratitude that keeps you in the positive even when things are not going so great. So I hope this was helpful for you. And I really hope that you consider starting your gratitude practice. I really think it's very, very important to start a gratitude practice. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me in the Wild Academy. The Wild Community. Also for the Wild Academy, we have moved back to our old classroom, and our schools are launched. Our class for Fundamentals of Shamanic Witchcraft is up. And we are also able to offer payment plans now, which we couldn't before. So we can do that for you if you decide that you're going to register. Class starts in January. So register now. It's a year-long class, and it's for anybody who's a beginner in this practice and wants to grow their practice their way. So we explore many different aspects of different types of practices, specifically with shamanic practice and witchcraft practices. We've merged and I combined those together into one. And the goal of that is to getting your practice set up, your own spiritual practice in whatever it is that may look like for you, not really being, maybe it's witchcraft, maybe it's shamanism, maybe it's a combination, a blend of both, right? So this is, what does it look like for you, and getting that practice up and running in a way that makes sense for you, that you can work on it and grow it every single day. So that class is ready for you to register. And once again, it starts in January, hopefully by the end of the month. Also, the other class that we have that's going to start in January is going to be the energetic geology of crystals, where we cover every single aspect and component of working with crystals from the scientific perspective to the energetic perspective. And that is also a year-long class, and that will also be available for sign up. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys, and I hope you all have a fantastic week, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.